Hi there, I'm Dark Shades and I'm going to talk about forgiveness today. Now, we all think about forgiving people when they've hurt us. Well, some of us do, some of us don't. Some of us hold a grudge. But when somebody has done something wrong and they apologise, we tend to say, oh, it's okay, it's fine. And then when you go away, you think about it and you think, hey, hold on a minute, it's not really fine at all. I don't really like the way they made me feel. I don't like what they did. But in the instant, you've forgiven them and they feel forgiven. But when you go away and you reflect about it, you're kind of thinking, no, I don't forgive them. And you have that unforgiveness in your heart that you're carrying around, which turns into resentment. Now, these people don't know anything about it. The people who you've so-called forgiven, they don't know anything about it because as far as they're concerned, they've hurt you, they've said sorry, and you've said, yeah, okay, when you're not okay. When that happens, it's because you haven't really, we live in a polite culture, and in the instant, it's almost automatic if somebody does something wrong to you and they say sorry, for you to say, oh, it's okay, without really thinking about it. And I think that's what happens. A lot of us carry a lot of hurt and a lot of distress because of that. It could happen when people lie to you. It can happen, in a lot of different ways. People have borrowed money and they haven't given it back. And you feel, and when they say, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, you kind of feel obliged to accept their apology. And while you acknowledge the apology in front of their face, behind their back, you're thinking, what a little bastard. I'm not going to trust them again. I'll never lend them money again. And when they come back to you, and they might ask you to borrow money again, or they might do something that you've forgiven them for, and you have an attitude, you end up feeling really angry that they've actually encroached upon you again after hurting you, when they don't know that they've hurt you because you've said it's okay. So holding on to that resentment is really damaging. And I know when the hurt is raw, it is difficult to see the wood for the trees, but it is important for your health to let that pain and blame and anger go. I know it's difficult. And I know you can be beating up yourself and thinking to yourself, oh, why didn't I say something? Why did I accept that apology? And after you've accepted it, you feel kind of awkward to go back and say, you know something? What you did the other day, I know I said it was okay, but it's not okay. But it's okay to do that. It's okay after reflection. If you don't feel that what they've done to you, or what you feel they've done to you, is hurting you, and you don't feel that you should have forgiven them so flippantly, go back to them and say, I was thinking about what you did to me the other day, or what you said to me the other day, and you know what? It's really peed me off. And I know I said it's okay, but it's not okay. And I don't feel okay about it. What can they say? They have to accept it, don't they? Forgiving others is more than accepting an apology, because apology is just words. It's about learning to understand the reason behind the perceived hurt, or the reason behind the betrayal of another person. So sometimes, when we do feel hurt, we do have to question ourselves and say to ourselves, why do we feel hurt? What is about what that person has done that makes us feel uncomfortable, that makes us feel resentful because we've said sorry too quickly? I mean, really and truly, if somebody has hurt you to such a degree and you've said sorry about it, is that really forgiveness? Or is that just an acknowledgement of what they've said? I'm inclined to think that it's not really forgiveness. Sometimes it's even good to think of the different perspective of the perceived hurt. For example, if someone's hurt you by lying to you, ask yourself the question, why would they lie? If there's something within, is there something within me that prevents them from speaking the truth? Have I been judgmental or critical? Do I come over as a perfectionist or someone with very high standards? Because sometimes if you come over as you're all about that and you're kind of letting people know that you won't accept certain things, or you set your standards so high that people think, oh my God, she's not going to speak to me. People will lie so that they don't have to, so they feel better about themselves. I know some people that they lie to impress someone. And if somebody thinks that you're going to take the mick out of them or belittle them if they don't say something that you want to hear, that's on them, because the way they perceive you to be is that they can't trust you with their truth. So they lie about it. And some people do that. Sometimes if somebody lies to you, you have to ask yourself, why did they lie? Instead of feeling hurt that they lie, ask yourself, why did they lie? What is it about me that would make somebody lie to me? Because really and truly, we're both adults. I can't beat you. What can I do? I might be upset, but we all get upset about things. So it's all a part for when you're thinking about forgiveness and when somebody's hurt you, try to put the hurt into perspective and ask yourself, why does it hurt me? What is it about what's happened that's hurt me to that extent that even though they've said sorry, it's still bothering me? Holding on to, like I said, holding on to hurt is really damaging. We don't want to do that. So you have to think about how you can resolve it. So when you're forgiving somebody, you really just have to, if somebody's hurt you, and instinctively you've said sorry, like I said, if you don't feel as though you've dealt with it properly, you can revisit it. When you think about forgiveness, sometimes we don't consider the need to forgive ourselves for the pain that we've caused to ourselves or others. Instead, we deny that we're hurting and we suppress the anger and the fears of rejection and painful experiences. And sometimes we find it difficult to forgive others because we find it difficult to forgive ourselves. If we forgive ourselves so easily, who can we blame? And sometimes we're our own worst critics. We dish out our own worst judgment. So once you can learn to forgive yourself for your imperfections and the things that you do wrong, you'll find it easier to forgive other people. Forgiveness is a conscious and deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment, anger or revenge towards individuals who have harmed you in some way. This is the case whether the hurt is real or perceived, and regardless of whether you think they deserved it or not. Forgive but not forget. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting what's happened. It just means that you're not condoning or excusing their behaviour. So even though, that's why it's important to revisit it if you're still upset about it, because otherwise they're going to feel as though it's okay. And unless, I know a lot of people, when you say sorry, they say, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. And they end up worrying about it because it's come from a place of flippancy and it's come from a place of reaction as opposed to conscious thought. So if you've got anybody out there who you need to forgive, just think about it. First, think about whether you have a part in it, why they reacted the way they did. And if it's their behaviour, try to think about what is it about their life experiences, what's made them behave in that way. And then you can think about whether or not you want that type of person in your life. If you do, how you're going to move forward. Are you going to set boundaries? Are you going to have a discussion about what's taken place so it doesn't happen again? And basically, you're going to work on resolving those issues instead of it building into resentment. And that's all for now. So this is Dark Shades, over and out.